Bienvenido, bienvenidos, welcome. We are in Ich bin, wie ich bin. It is a session where we invite you to see the video performance work and to talk. Hello, I am Manuel Butron and here I am helping Ares. We are in the presentation. First lesson, the title, Ich bin, wie ich bin, means I am as I am. I have a very special affection for German, the language. For that reason, I choose to title the project like this. It is the compilation of several videos where audio takes a very important paper. Some are covers of commercial songs, which I realize in a deconstructive way. Others are sonorous poems at the way of Vitor Conci and all those authors who were related to the concrete poetry of Brazil and the international visual poetry. I start with language deconstruction, the search for echoes, auditory as much as sonorous metaphors. Several of these video works are like performance video clips. What I would like to know is, from where do come all these crazy ideas that suddenly you show in your videos? Why is it is video performance? Why mainly is that you do it? Which one is the reason that motivates you? Which is your formation? And where do you want to write with all these videos you do? Once upon a time, in Greece, they said that when the students accompanied the teacher, it was necessary to walk near him, and then, walking and crossing the gardens, the process of dialogue took place. And with that process of conversation, of talking, thinking and talking together, there was staged or took place the process of learning or teaching. Also, I am sure that no performance is born by a spontaneous generation, as no book arises from nowhere. Books arise from books, paintings come from paintings, and performance art comes from visual arts, the conceptual arts, and the iconic multimedia or electronic arts, mainly in the case of my work, where for me the electronic or digital support or through the network. It is a medullary part of my proposal. It is much more accessible at the present time to have a public through YouTube or Facebook at the different social networks that sometimes to have it with a present body. My channel is a year old and has more than 30,000 visits, more than 300 subscribers and more than 80 videos. I think about asking you about your experience during all these years doing video performance. Your experience as much in social networks as in real life or with real people. What is the difference that you find between these two publics? That at the same time they are the same but they are expressed in different ways. YouTube channels offer a very useful tool that is called Insight and allows you to be able to observe in each video how many people see it and in what time rank. That is, if you uploaded that video a year ago, you can ask how many people have seen it during all year long or how many people have seen it in the last month or week. You can divide the rank of time of your question. Also, it says to you from what parts of the world they are seeing you. The form in which YouTube Insight divides the countries is Europe, United States, Asia, Middle East, Africa, South America. If you want to see Mexico, you just click in Mexico. The countries are illuminated with a stronger color in those when they are seeing you more. You can see the total count of visits by continent, and you can see illuminated those countries which are seeing you more. Also, you can see the age rank of the visitors and their sex, if they are men or women. In general terms, men see me more than women, of ages between 22 to 55 to say something. Probably the proportion is 75% men and 25% women. Mainly they see me in Mexico. Nevertheless, there are also many spectators who have seen my videos in Europe, the United States and South America, that in a constant way. As third place, I could say that I have some public in Asia and the Middle East. Mainly the video that I have related with death penalty and some other erotic videos. This strong influence that could be a constant in my work of Thanatos and Eros, I believe it draws enough attention. As far as about the real public, the majority of the spaces where I present my work are usually cultural centers, universities, galleries, or sometimes bars. And there it depends much. For example, if they invite me to give a course, and within the course I present my work, of the power of call of the place that invites me. For example, I have been going to present conferences this year to San Luis and Jalapa. There was a very good audience for the course that I gave, that is called Creative Conscious. They were invited directly by the institutions, in the case of Jalapa, Realia, and in the case of San Luis, the Center of the Arts. If you are invited by an institution and they summon the attendance, it is not going to depend as much in you, but in the profile of the space. That is what happens more often to me with real public. Those audiences depend not as much of a public related to my artwork, but of the public already captive from the spaces which call me to present my work. Here we have a series of titles of your work. Also, you're dancing here. The point is that I think about, indeed right now, we were talking a little about it, you improvise a lot. That improvisation at the same time is not either random, because it brings as support a story or something that you want to point. It's one of these titles and many others of the 80 you say that we can find at your channel. They surely have many meeting points between them and aren't only random. They are not totally independent videos among them. At the same time, you have a series of alter egos. In each video or in each presentation, at least in the ones in which I have seen you, there comes a different iris, baptized with a different last name, but at the same time, they conform one. I don't know, it is not a trinity, it's already a pantheon of gods and goddesses. That will be interesting to know where it came from and which are all those different personages that you have. When I was a child, ever since I was a girl, one idea I had to be an artist, one of the reasons that I had to be an artist was that I was a fan of literature. And the fascination for literature was for me like being able to walk into another world, that through the author's work I could live my daily life and walk into that other magical work of Alice in Wonderland, Hansel and Gretel, or the one of the princess, and I said I would love when I grow old to be able to create my own universe. I suppose that later when I studied cinema and they taught me the methodology to construct personage, I already had the visual artist formation. I had been in the school, El Esmeralda, the Emerald, which some years ago it was in the historical center, and I made a mix between keep on working visual arts as performance with a lot of influence of photography and fashion, but because I also like fashion, but incorporating this cinematographic construction of the personage. So it is not that they will not exist before, but they exist in a less structured form. I used to paint, and when I painted mask, kind of Ensor, Munch or German expressionism style, I used to dress in black, very gothic, and had some kind of dark princess. When I decided to work the nature as a main subject, water, air, I traveled to the wet forest, and the man was also kind of an ecological activist. My backpack was blue, my clothes were blue. I used to merge with my painting series. So in the same way, when I work more inside performance, I retake what I had done in an intuitive way. Just as before, those were kind of stages and only one personage at a time. What happens now is that it is already structured at a conscious form, and I have developed 9 different structures through which I can travel to stage different universes or cultural surroundings. And of all those personages which now you have and use in all your videos, which one is the oldest? How have they been developed until arriving at which? And if you still have more personages in mind, surely yes. Which is your exact relation with each one of them? What do you mean with each one? It will be like describing briefly, not exhaustively, which are those personages, what do they inspire you? What part of you can express with them, and do you want that people understand, learn, or criticize with them? Just like that? I do not know if when my brother said my name at my baptize, it happens that my mother wanted for me that the name Scarlett Berenice. And it was my baptist day. Then my brother was 8 years old, and he used to see TV a program of a fairy called Iris. When the priest had the baby, I mean me, he asked, how is she gonna be called? And my brother answered, Iris. My grandmother by my father's side was called Adelina. She died in a train accident. But she was, or my mother knows, or my mother tells me, that in some form the spirit of my grandmother took care of me so I could be born, because my mother had a very difficult childbirth. And she felt that my parental grandmother was taking care of me. So after my brother says Iris, my father says Adelina. And my name is Iris Adelina and not Scarlett Berenice. So, since then there were 4 names on stage to write. And one of the things that I like about the Iris name that has been like the joke or the one I use for all the personages, there are even people who ask me, Iris is a real name or it is a stage name? And I say, yes, it is a real name. In my birth certificate and in my Baptist faith you can see it. I believe it was a very accurate name. It is one of the things that I can thank to my brother, because the rainbow has 7 colors. It is a part of the color of the eye, and it is an outshade that exists in yellow and violet. It happens that yellow and violet enchant me, outshades fascinate me. Rainbow is as a leitmotif, a motto, recurrent image of my artwork and in my life. I'm happy when I see a rainbow and arcoiris. The part of the eye that has color makes me think about we are a visual culture, a contemporary time at which we depend on the vision. And I am a visual artist. I dedicate myself to see and generate more images to offer to people who are equal or more visuals than I. And is in this fascination by the visual, by color diversity, and color psychology, because every color makes you feel different things. If you could touch each color, of course, red is hotter than violet or blue, and green is fresher. By all means, yellow and violet take you to the dimension of what is sublime, whereas red takes you into something earthly and physical or passionate. I went deepening this relation with color and rainbow in a kind of study of identity. If there would be a pink personage, because the rainbow has pink, or because Iris added pink to the rainbow, how would it be? For me, pink sounded as a love energy of compassion, mercy, tenderness, romance, sensuality, femininity. It is not that men cannot accede to rose, or that only what is feminine can be pink, but that itself pink is sweet as sugar. Never mind if it is embraced by a man or by a woman. I feel that in the moment in which this individual, independently of his sex or sexual orientation, embraces rose, then he is embracing the sweet part of loving himself. Thinking about colors or about rainbow as a soul reflection, and that in soul there is not sexuality. They say that sexual discrimination exists only in this planet. That is why extraterrestrials do not understand us, or beings from other universes. I really like to think in abstract terms, and color and soul. Also for that reason I choose as artistic name Iris Atma. It helps me to remind me to think about those abstractions of the spirit and of the mind or of the emotions through color, and that is why each personage is represented with one color. And it is from that exploration about the identities that color has to offer that I develop the identity, the life story, the clothes style, and the stories and performance series of each personage. I believe that at the end of the day, my work is a reflection of identities. One of the philosophies that helped me more in this process was Theosophy, because Theosophy has a knowledge area called the study of the flames, or the study of colors. For example, the first ray, which is blue, it is the ray of the Sunday, the ray of the Father, and it is a color of missionaries, of healers, of those who console and talk about faith and will. God save me from unwilling men. Because without will you don't do anything, without decision you don't do anything. If you are thinking I would like but you don't do it, once you do it and you have that experience and you can take another step. Samadhi Iris Atma Oceania de Santiago is the one closer to this ray, and she's the one who works more the subject of faith. She talks a lot in her art about elements from nature and from spiritual. The ray 2 is the rose one, and it's the ray of love. My more loving personage is Sugar Plum, Teddy Bear. This mode of sugar and girly between erotic cuteness and soft porn, because someone said to me that one of the things that drew his attention to my work is that it is not like it has to be white or black, or this is good and that is wrong, but I try to integrate different tones and shades without excluding. I think that given me permission to explore my diverse forms of be, forms to be in harmony and in an integrated form, is directly or indirectly to say to the spectators that it is possible to give you permission to explore all the potentialities of being which you have within you. And it is not a taboo or something bad. In fact, it can be fun. Then, that's my way, personage by personage, in this relation with Theosophy and the rainbow. On the basis of everything that we have been knowing, seeing your videos and all this, I still have the doubt of to whom it is for. Regularly an artist, we say, we do the work because we want to. Those are a series of things that we want to express, but finally, we want that people see it, that participate, criticize it, love it, that do something with it. But that at least we can see an interaction. You, to whom direct all this? There is a question that sometimes they ask us to artists. Are you successful or are you a loser? One tries to say, I am successful or I want to be successful. And obviously that if you have or have not an audience, that is gonna determine the measurement of your success. Because if you are very good according to you, but according to nobody else, then it's kind of difficult that they believe you. However, if you are good or you have quality in your work, and there are hundreds or thousands of people who agree with that, then it's much more easier than we can say that you have some kind of success, recognition, or that your work has gained certain level of institutionalization. I think that I am not only speaking about me, that I would like to be successful, but that all those of us who make visual artwork, we would like to have an audience and some degree of recognition by the work quality. In terms of popularity, we could say, for example, Lady Gaga appears at the Times cover because she is one of the women with more fans at the internet through her Twitter, YouTube and all. Visual arts are not indeed as entertainment arts. Sometimes most of the visual artists prefer to have a smaller audience, but a very select one composed of art professionals, curators, gallery openers, colleagues. Obviously, um, in order to get to the masses, the language must be attractive and entertained, and until a certain point accessible. Not indeed that you use a cheap languages, but yes that you can translate your ideas to everyday terms. However, in order to obtain a recognition of the professionals of art, it is a high priority that your artwork be translated into specific terms of the artistic system, that is to say, evaluated from a critical methodology which can discourse about the artistic, aesthetic, thematic subject of the work, and if this has or has no transcendence into the system, and that requires a specialized terminology and a language construction that is very related with research and social science development, and mainly reflects about how much this work enrich or renews the systems of which it is nourished and to which belongs, and to those who is trying to give a statement or contribution. For the first, that is to say, to try to make something attractive and to get to have a wide public. Let's say a general public, although not such thing exists, I think social networks are a great tool. For specialized publics, it is necessary to form part or participate in academic circles, colloquia, symposiums, lectures, to try to appear in specialized magazines or to establish personal relations with professionals in those areas. Also, another area or another kind of people whom artists want to be related and to have a relative success are media, politics, and commerce. Those are several areas. In order To have success with media, you must know a little of marketing. Going knock the doors and press bulletins, visit magazines, newspapers, draw bulletins. Sometimes I have had good luck with the media, sometimes not. It is not something constant, it is like a tide. In order to have a certain market success, that what I could sell are paintings on performance DVDs, it is a product. Even when performance is an intangible good, there is a physical product at the DVDs, which can be collectible and we can sell you them, of course. I also can sell the pictures that form part of those video performances or the paintings that often appear in those videos. Because first I painted them and there's the object. That is the relation with commerce. In my case, I don't sell a lot and I don't sell at expensive prices. So I am a big opportunity. Invest in an emergent artist who can have a very good future now at a very good price, because in 20 years my art can raise a lot, so it can be a very good investment. And then there are several audiences, because of course if you want to get to the client or the collector, you must have a price in your artworks. And you must say specifically what products are you selling. If you just want YouTube rating, can you use some tags as bikini or ghost, what I was telling you about the rating of Eros and Thanatos? And maybe you will have more business that if you use tags as semiotics, pragmatic, conceptual art. But if you use those tags of avant-garde, conceptual art, kunst, curator, critic, maybe those social networks also can support your interest of approaching the specific system and public of your profession. The answer has many faces. It would be very good to have, as they say in those jokes,
Sería muy bueno tener, como dicen en estos chistes, un chofer,
a driver, a publicist, and all the other things.
¿no? Pero yo creo que la
I
mayoría de los
think that the
artistas somos
majority
bastante
of
independientes
artists,
cuando somos jóvenes.
mainly when
Vemos
we
muchos
are
sombreros, o
independent
sea,
and
somos el
when we are
autor de la
young,
obra, somos nuestro publi
we have
relacionista,
many hats. We are the
nos
author of the work,
encargamos
we
de
are
la
our
venta de nuestro
own
trabajo
publicists, we
también,
manage the sale
hacemos
of our art,
entonces
we make those
multiproducciones.
multi-productions.
Eso vas a
We are
sonar
also
súper
our own
publi, pero
public.
espero que
We
no.
are also our own
Sí hay
public. No, I
algunos
hope not.
publicitos por ahí.
There are some little
Sí hay
audiences
algunos.
around there. Yes, sometimes. Ich bin wie ich bin is the title of the song of a Greek singer who made it famous in Germany. It enchants me. I think she's called Vicky Leandros. But it also is related with this idea of affirmations and identity work. I think this subject gives for a lot of work the point about explore and to live. And besides, I guess that for me, sometimes, I don't know if it happens to all, but it happens to me. Sometimes you do not understand life, what happens to you. You want to understand it, and it is supposed that you should understand it, because it is your life, but sometimes it overwhelms you and you have not clarity about if you are seeing things in the right perspective, or if there is a right perspective, or why is it that there are so many different ways to see life. For me, art is a way to reflect and to translate and to try to understand. I believe that after I finish a project, I have a little bit more clarity about something, and that is why this idea of a continuous process, or for that reason I still haven't got tired of doing it, but I have the interest to continue understanding. And for me, performance is my tool to understand and to express or to act. There is a joke, a story, where the guru says to his nephews or their students that one who kills a hen and does it where nobody sees him is going to receive a flute that he made with his hands. of wood, a very beautiful flute. Then one new pupil arrives with a dead hen and says to him, I went diving and under the water where nobody saw me, I killed the hen. The other arrives and says to him, I climbed a tree and there above, hidden between the leaves, I killed the hen. And the niece arrives and says to him, with an alive hen, I could not kill her because the hen was always seeing me. I have this conviction that independently of how many see you today or tomorrow, there is always this consciousness that is in everywhere and that always sees you and that all your actions have a consequence. The girl who did not kill the hen was the one who gained the flute. I do not know which is my flute, but the idea of working my art with a positive intention is what I think I do to win my flute. So thanks for watching the performance of film, thanks for sharing them, subscribe and I hope to see you soon. I thank you a lot, you have invited me to participate, mainly to know more about what you do. Why do you do it? A little bit of history. I know there is much more information and there are much more reasons why you work in this. Particularly, I am knowing your work little by little, mainly by Facebook. Little by little, in the relation of our friendship, I am getting to know your personages, your artwork, and that is why at the same time many doubts arise to me. I hope this has not seemed as a questioning of why do you do what you do. I am not an art critic, I am a normal person who is dedicated to make some videos and concerts, etc. But I am interested in your proposals, mainly because it is not only the image that sounds very elevated, that sounds funny, that is very sexy. It is a combination of everything, and that is mainly why it attracts me. It is very free, that part is something I like a lot, and that I also use, trying of not overthinking the things, just think about them, but do not structure them as much as at the end the result be rigid. That is why I like it a lot, your freedom in each one of the videos. I will keep on seeing them. I think we are learning. I and surely many people from internet. That will be all for me. Thank you. Gracias. I choose to title the project like this. It is the compilation of several videos where audio takes a very important paper. Some are covers of commercial songs, which I realize in a deconstructivist way. Others are sonorous poems at the way of Vito Conci and all those authors who were related to the concrete poetry of Brazil and the international visual poetry. I start with language deconstruction, the search for echoes, auditory as much as sonorous metaphors. Several of these video works are like performance video clips. What I would like to know is, from where do come all these crazy ideas that suddenly you show in your videos? Why is it is video performance? Why mainly is that you do it? Which one is the reason that motivates you? Which is your formation? And where do you want to arrive with all these videos you do? Once upon a time, in Greece, they said that when the students accompanied the teacher, it was necessary to walk near him, and then, walking and crossing the gardens, the process of dialogue took place. And with that process of conversation, of talking, thinking and talking together, there was staged or took place the process of learning or teaching. Also, I am sure that no performance is born by a spontaneous generation, as no book arises from nowhere. Books arise from books, paintings come from paintings, and performance art comes from visual arts, the conceptual arts, and the iconic multimedia or electronic arts, mainly in the case of my work, where for me the electronic or digital support or through the network. It is a medullary part of my proposal. It is much more accessible. Bienvenido, bienvenidos, welcome. We are in Ich bin, wie ich bin. It is a session where we invite you to see the video performance work and to talk. Hello, I am Manuel Butron, and here I am helping Ares. We are in the presentation. First lesson, the title, Ich bin, wie ich bin, means I am as I am. I have a very special affection for German, the language. For that reason,